1470 AM and 95.3 FM. The Health and Wealth Radio Network.
Caregiver Solutions Info with Marcia Teal. Tuesdays at 5 p.m.
Talk 1470 AM and 95.3 FM WNN. Talk 1470 is WWNN Pompano Beach and 95.3 FM W237BD Boca Raton. The Health and Wealth Radio Network.
Seniors, this is Steve Kane here, asking you, is there too much month left at the end of your money? Take advantage of a reverse mortgage. If you're 62 years of age or older, you own your own home, you can get the money you need, have no mortgage payment, and live in your home for the rest of your life. Use the money for anything. Vacations, pay off your bills, home repairs. It's your money to do with what you want. Call Emmanuel Saint-Germain on his cell phone, 561-400-7317. 561-400-7317.
Gallbladder problems, gingivitis, a bad back, indigestion, fatigue, low libido, not sleeping well, need to lose weight. Just some of the topics you'll hear about. Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Martin. Join me Sunday mornings at 10 on Talk 1470 WNN.
Go to your app store and download the WNN app on your Android or iPhone. And never miss a Talk 1470 minute.
Selfless service is the guiding principle that drives Army National Guard soldiers to be always ready whenever disaster strikes. Every Army National Guard member serves not only to protect the nation, but also their local communities, so they each have a stake in the security and well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They are your next-door neighbors and your colleagues in schools, offices, and factories. Since the early days of our republic, the Army National Guard has continued its timeless commitment to guarantee peace and security for all Americans, a proud legacy which has endured for nearly 4 centuries. To be a Guard soldier is to stand ready to serve at all times for family, for community, and for country. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com or contact an Army National Guard recruiter in your area. Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Having a place to go after school will make you a better student. Having an outlet to express yourself will make you a better artist. Having something to do together will make you a better family. At the Y, we're helping build better friends, listeners, writers, swimmers, scientists, and musicians, one chance at a time. Give the gift of opportunity. Support the Y at ymca.net. The Y, for a better us.
Kids have the craziest ideas about food. Where do they get this stuff? Like eating Brussels sprouts helps you hit home runs. And eating carrots gives you X-ray vision. It's nuts. And I honestly have no idea where my daughter got this notion that broccoli is the official food of professional ballerinas. Kids, the only reason my 4-year-old loves cantaloupe is because he's convinced it comes from the moon.
One small step for man, lots of potassium for mankind.
And the other day when my oldest came up to me and said, "Mom, will eating peas and carrots really help me pull off a fakey frontside ollie with a twist?" I look him in the eye and say, "It can't hurt, honey. It can't hurt."
Moms everywhere are finding creative ways to help their kids eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Schub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show. I'm your host, Dan Schub, and tonight, as we usually do, we're going to be talking some golf. We're going to be talking some travel. A little bit of stories from my trip. I just returned this morning from several days out in Las Vegas, kind of my home away from home, where I get to do some pretty cool stuff and share all that with all you. And kind of weird, it was out in the snow out there, so that's a whole nother story. But it is good to be back in the warmth of South Florida. And speaking of warmth, we're going to have a guest on a little bit later who is also in a nice, warm, sunny place. We'll be talking to Jean-Paul Polo, and he's the Director of Creative Strategy for Discover Puerto Rico, the marketing agency that markets tourism in Puerto Rico. And, of course, the PGA Tour is playing down there this week, and we're going to get a little bit of a report on some of the golf that John Paul has been able to enjoy this past week, as well as some of the golf that everybody is getting to watch on the PGA Tour as well. So, but as usual, I typically like to at least touch on a little bit of golf up front, and later on in the show, of course, I've got plenty of Dan's deals for you, too, so that we can send you someplace where you can go and have some fun as well. First off, besides the tour event in Puerto Rico, for better or for worse, Puerto Rico gets their event as the second event that's on the tour this week. Invitation only is the World Golf Championships, which is being played in Mexico. And, of course, only the best players in the world get invited to that, the top players. And, you know, it's pretty cool when you get an opportunity to see the very best of the very best all playing together. So I'll be watching it this weekend as well. And let's see who's in the lead at this moment. I always have to preface this by saying apologies to the folks that are going to listen to our show, the Golf and Travel Show, which reruns on Sundays at 6 p.m. on our sister station, WSBR, 740 AM, 96.9 FM, and 103.9 FM, as well as streaming at WSBRradio.com or the free app that you can get in the App Store. And our local resident, Dustin Johnson, currently is in the lead at -11, followed by Rory McIlroy and Matt Kuchar at -9. Of course, Matt's been in the news quite a bit. That whole debacle with underpaying his caddy, and hopefully that's going to get behind him pretty soon. He apologized yet again, and it seems that the fans were out there to support him. So that's all pretty cool. Tied for fourth with Tommy Fleetwood is Sergio Garcia. Now, Sergio, of course, had that incident just recently where he was mucking up the greens a little bit, and it was quite negative publicity for him and negative publicity for the tour that was over in the Middle East. Well, it seems that in Mexico, the same thing kind of happened again. This time, though, it was Bryson DeChambeau who has cameras caught him messing up a green with his putter, and he had to issue an apology this morning. He sent it out on Twitter. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with golfers taking out their frustrations on the green, but golf not only is a sport of rules, but it's a sport of etiquette as well. So I am not too happy about that. So in any event, we'll see what happens with the greens and with the etiquette and et cetera. So. Also, let's see what else we have on the tour. The women are playing at the Honda LPGA in Thailand, and one of my favorite places to play, of course, is Thailand. Also, I believe the senior tour is off this week. Wanted to mention condolences for the golfing world lost a giant, Gene Littler, U.S. Amateur and U.S. Open champion, died this past week at 88, and that's unfortunate. But condolences to his family. Also, just wanted to, I think maybe, I wanted to mention, of course, next week, I'm not going to be in town for the first time in a long time, and I'm going to miss my opportunity to go over to the Honda Classic. One of my favorite golf courses, the Champion Golf Course at PGA National. And unfortunately, it was just announced that Tiger Woods would not be playing in his hometown event this year. He said that instead, the following week, he's going to be playing in the event up at Bay Hill. And, is just too much. He had mentioned recently that he just needs to spread out, I suppose, his play. He's been a little bit tired, I suppose. So, it's unfortunate for the Honda. It's unfortunate that I'm going to miss it, but I'll talk more about that later. I'm going to be down in Key West. I also think what we'll do is maybe change gears briefly while it's still fresh in my mind and while I know I have a little bit of time. I wanted to talk a little bit about my experience out in Las Vegas this past week. And, I always like to review for everybody my experiences on the plane. And as typical, I flew out on Southwest and didn't have any problems, actually. It was a great flight. Coming back, JetBlue, the red eye, and my board operator, Ken, here, we both talk about this flight from time to time. It used to be delayed all the time, and it was almost a joke. But it had been really on time lately, and this time not so much with all the weather. I guess this time of year it's really difficult. The snowstorms, we were delayed about an hour and a half or so, but still a good flight and, nice. As far as my lodging this trip, I stayed at the Cosmopolitan, which is one of my favorite places to stay, and treated me really well. Of course, the Cosmopolitan is part of the Marriott group, so my status as a platinum member got me upgraded from my basic, relatively inexpensive room. Got a discount using my AAA card this time, but they upgraded me. I ended up staying in a beautiful suite on the 55th floor with a great view of the Strip and the snowstorms that were out there, which I have to say I was not really expecting snow out in the desert, something I could have done without. But in any event, the Cosmopolitan was great. The casino was good. Played blackjack twice, won twice, so that's always good. So very, very friendly. And it's just a great scene there, the club scene, the food scene. That new food court that they opened up is excellent. Milk, where they have milkshakes, the egg slut for breakfast. So many great choices to eat there. However, as you all know, I typically like to leave the Strip whenever possible. And I went, of course, to several of my favorite places, like I always do. One place that I hadn't been to in a while, and I forgot how good it was, is Carson Kitchen. And Carson Kitchen is on Carson, just off of downtown, the downtown area, the old part of town. Just an incredible American bistro kind of a place with great dishes, whether you want full entrees or you want to kind of go tapas style, but they're just, one dish better than the next. The lamb tacos, the veal meatballs, the deviled eggs, which they're famous for, just one dish after another, incredible. But I have to say that the donut bread pudding was just off the charts. So if you get a chance on Carson and 6th, you can look them up, Carson Kitchen, just off of Las Vegas Boulevard downtown. Also, another one of my favorite places to go to is the Peppermill, which is just, it's like walking back in time, back into the 1950s in Las Vegas. And it's a basic diner, but just kicked up a few notches. Huge portions, great food, fun wait staff, incredible lounge, playing music videos with a giant fire pit surrounded by water inside the bar. Just a great place to hang out. And last but not least, my favorite go-to place, where almost every trip I have to go to, which is Lotus of Siam, the best Thai food this side of Thailand. Their chef, Miss Chumita, has won the James Beard Award. Just incredible food. They're breaded, fried short ribs for an appetizer, not on the menu. You got to ask for it. Ask for it. Just an incredible dining experience, as always, at Lotus of Siam. Make reservations weeks in advance, or you will not get a table. Or the other trick is what I did. Show up at 5:30 when they open for dinner, and you'll see a whole bunch of other people who are all waiting to kind of get in there. and oftentimes you can get a seat at the bar. And if you can't get a seat at the bar, then you can, maybe a short wait, and they try and keep a couple of tables open for folks that don't have reservations. All right, I think what we are going to do is we're going to take our first break, and then we're going to try and get a hold of our guest, Jean-Paul Polo from Discover Puerto Rico. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be back with more of the Golf and Travel Show.
I'm not smart enough. My resume's not up to date. They'll never pick someone like me. No one's hiring right now. Sound familiar? Don't let you get in the way of landing your next job opportunity. Sometimes it's best to leave it up to the experts. Did you know that the last reported job openings in the U.S. as of this recording was a series high of 6.7 million jobs, and that 1.1 million of those jobs were left unfilled? This means that there's a potential opportunity that's just right for you. And at Labor Finders, we're committed to helping you find it. Whether you're entering the workforce or looking for supplemental income in a job that starts right away, we've got you covered. With over 300,000 clients across the U.S. and 20,000 active daily workers, we have the network and the experience to get you your next job. Contact one of our nearly 200 offices today to see how we can help in your job search. Simply visit us online at www.laborfinders.com or connect with us on social media by searching the username Labor Finders.
And we are back, and one of my favorite places to visit, I've gotten to there on multiple occasions. Haven't played golf there in many years, and I think I got to talk to our next guest about that. But beautiful place to play golf, and PGA Tour pros have been doing it for many years now. And just wonderful, warm people, great food, beautiful beaches. Puerto Rico, great place to visit. And to find out a little bit more about it from Discover Puerto Rico, we've got Jean-Paul Polo. Jean, are you with us?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing excellent.
Well, I'm as I said earlier, I just got in from Vegas this morning. I've been out there all week, and it was snowing out there. I have a funny feeling you're enjoying a little bit better weather than I had all week.
Well, I got to tell you, we've got it's 85 degrees down here, and there's no snow, and I don't think there's any snow in the forecast for a long, long time.
The only white you get are maybe occasionally the white caps on the surf, huh?
Exactly. That's as much white as you're going to see down here in Puerto Rico.
So why don't you tell me a little bit about, first of all, the excitement with the PGA Tour that's there? I know it's been several years now you've been hosting this event down there, and it must be very exciting for you and the folks in Puerto Rico.
Oh, it's extremely exciting for us to host the Puerto Rico Open here. It's the 11th time that we've hosted it. Obviously, last year we didn't get a chance to have the tournament because of Hurricane Maria, but we're past that. We've got Puerto Rico Open now back here. We've got a great field, great weather, an amazing course that's playing harder than ever. So we're extremely excited to be hosting the Puerto Rico Open.
Now, you had mentioned, of course, the hurricane and the damage, and I know that it was massive and it took a lot longer than anybody wanted for all of that to get fixed up and repaired. So why don't you just give us a quick breakdown on where you're at now with the recovery effort?
Well, Hurricane Maria hit September 20th, 2017. We're a little past over a year now from when the hurricane came through. Obviously, there's still some things that need to get done, but we are way ahead of what we thought we were going to be, especially from a tourism perspective. Hotels, restaurants, bars, everybody got up and they decided to put work behind it. Hotels are better than ever. We've got many restaurants that have opened up. And really, it's been a testament to the Puerto Rican people and their resilient spirit of saying we're not going to get knocked down by the hurricane. We're going to get back up, and we're going to come back better than ever.
Now, many people with any vacation destinations, they tend to go to the most popular spot and they stay there. So, of course, in Puerto Rico, that would be San Juan, and I visited San Juan. But there are many other lovely parts of Puerto Rico around the island. Why don't you touch on a little bit about some of the other areas, perhaps, that maybe people aren't as aware of?
Yeah, well, everybody knows San Juan, and obviously it's a historical city. It's one of the most historical cities in Puerto Rico. But we've got diversity in Puerto Rico in a confined area. So we have, 100-mile long island, 35 miles wide, and you can go to places like Rincon, which is a surf town on the west coast of Puerto Rico, a very relaxed, chilled vibe. You've got Ponce, which is another historic city in the south of Puerto Rico, great architecture, Spanish architecture from back, in the 1400s and 1500s colonial era. And then you've got places like Vieques and Culebra, the municipality islands. They offer a great retreat for people to go, very chilled environment. And then you talk about ecological diversity. You've got the rainforest, which is the only rainforest in North America. And we're home to 3 out of 5 bioluminescent bays in the whole world. So there's a lot to do in Puerto Rico in a very small island.
It's funny. I mentioned to an associate who was working on one of the shows before I came on the air, and he's from Puerto Rico, or his family's from Puerto Rico, and he was just at a place that I stayed at. I told him about 40 years ago and played golf. And he says, I might buy a condo there. I'm talking about Palmas del Mar.
Oh, yeah, Palmas, it's a great place. It's on the east coast of Puerto Rico, maybe like 40 minutes away from San Juan. You've got great beaches there. You've got 2 amazing golf courses. You've got the Flamboyant. You've got the Palm course. One of them is a Greg Norman design. It's a very, testing golf course at Flamboyant. I tend not to play very well there, but it's a great course. And then there's this community environment in Palmas, which is unmatchable. You've got people that go there to spend weekends, but you also have a community that lives there. It's got a nautical club. It's got easy access to the rainforest, and it's a great special place. I know a lot of people from the States. They come either to buy a condo there, or they come to vacation there, and they spend a big amount of time, and they have a great time when they're there in Palmas.
Another favorite course that I had a chance to play many years ago, what was it? The Rio Mar. So what's happening there? That's right next to the rainforest, right? So, and is the rainforest coming back? I know that also was affected by the hurricane.
Yeah, so the rainforest, it's the protector of Puerto Rico, El Yunque, Yuquillú. It's the Taínos put the name El Yunque as the protector of Puerto Rico because they fought it, that it protected Puerto Rico from hurricanes, and it's the truth. When you got a storm, they'll dissipate once they hit El Yunque, which stands tall right in the middle of Puerto Rico. And it's taken a while, for it to come back, but you quickly saw all the leaves started to flourish, and it's all green now. It's beautiful. It's opened up now recently. A couple of months ago, it fully opened up. And people are able to enjoy the waterfalls. People are able to go, and do camping. There's a couple of Airbnbs in the area. It's a National Park Service. So it's a great place for people to go and, do some hiking. And it's right next to Rio Mar. And right. Rio Mar is another great place.
A great Greg Norman design, right?
Rio Mar is Greg Norman. They've got 2 courses. They've got the river, and they've got the ocean course.
Nice, very nice. Now, another place that's an old favorite that has been reborn, I can't remember how many times, so I'd like to get an update on how they're doing, the El San Juan.
Yeah, so El San Juan just recently opened about a month ago. That's obviously probably one of the most iconic hotels in Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
it's a hotel. If you've been to the El San Juan, you know that the lobby is just impressive.
Yes.
They've got great salsa dancing over there. They've got the casino, and it just recently opened up. I actually spent a day there the other day in the pool area, and it's beautiful what they've done with with that hotel. I'm glad that it's back. I spent a lot of time there with my family when I was young and growing up, so it's really nice to see it come back.
And another favorite area of mine is Old San Juan. Walking on the cobblestone streets, you feel like you're in Spain, which it's just kind of nice to be able to have such a short flight from here in South Florida and feel like you're in a totally different world.
Old San Juan is a magical place. You've got, all the El Morro, all the fortresses from back in the colonial eras, and it's just a magical place. All the architecture, all the little restaurants and bars. We've got La Factoria, which has been named, one of the top bars in the world. You've got restaurants like Trois Cent Onze, which are, great culinary experiences. And then you get all these, little gardens that you go inside, you don't expect it. You walk in through this little hallway, and then you've got these great gardens inside. It's just, it's a magical place. I think, I work in Old San Juan. I get the opportunity to go have lunch there and walk around, and I don't get tired of it ever since I came back to live in Puerto Rico 6 months ago.
Now, you mentioned the gardens, and inside there's a great place to have a drink. What's that old hotel that was like a monastery or something right in the middle of Old San Juan?
Oh, El Convento.
El Convento, yes. What a lovely place to have a drink indoors and feel like you're outdoors, basically. How beautiful is that place, huh?
It's incredible. El Convento, I don't know if you've been to the rooftop bar that they have, and they've got a pool there, but you get a view of San Juan Bay. You can see the Bacardi factory on the other side of the bay, which is, a great, place as well to go for a tour. And you get to see the sunsets fall right over El Morro. El Convento is another great place to visit in Puerto Rico.
Okay, so now I know you're an avid golfer and you represent golf. So if you were putting together a couple of day trip for some folks from here in South Florida and they wanted to come down and play some golf, what golf courses are like the must play golf courses?
Well, we've got right now 17 golf courses that are open. There's still a couple that we're hoping are going to open up in the next couple of months or a year. But if you come down to Puerto Rico, you've got to go to the Dorado. Dorado is a great town, just 20 minutes away from San Juan.
Mm-hmm.
Got to play TPC Dorado Beach East. It's the only TPC course on the island. And as far as I know, I think it's the only TPC course in the Caribbean, maybe even Latin America, because I don't think they've expanded TPC courses down there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a beautiful course. They've, it's held PGA Tour events, senior PGA events back in the 1990s.
Wait, I have to put a plug in for my local hometown resident in Palm City, Florida, where I live, Chichi Rodriguez. I know that he was an ambassador for many, many years for golf down there in the tournaments.
Oh, of course. And Chichi, if you go to TPC Dorado Beach East and you're having lunch, they've got a wall right behind you, and it's got, Chichi when he was playing PGA. They've got pictures of him. They've got a tribute to him there. So TPC has definitely got to be on your list. You got to put St. Regis Bahia Beach on your list.
Mm-hmm.
It's Robert Trent Jones Jr. Redesign. And you've got Cocoa Beach, which is where the PGA Tour event is held, the championship course. Rio Mar has got two great courses like we mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another special place in Puerto Rico, which is probably like an hour and 45 minutes away from San Juan. It's Royal Isabella.
Yeah.
It's a link-style golf course. It's right next to the cliffs of, looking at the Atlantic Ocean. And it is just impressive to see that they were able to build that type of golf course in Puerto Rico. You just don't expect to see that type of golf course in the Caribbean. And they did a great job. They're finalizing all their efforts after Hurricane Maria. I played it recently for a photo shoot that I did over there. It's a tough course. It's just really, really tough, but it's impressive just to be there and see those views.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures. It's almost looks like an aerial view like Ireland, but without the lousy weather.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you're not going to get lousy weather in Royal Isabella. You're going to get perfect weather. It's beautiful. Atlantic Ocean. You get that northeast wind hitting most of the holes. So it's a tough testament for golf, but it's just beautiful to watch.
So if anybody is listening, we have listeners not only in Florida because they listen to our streams and they're interested in putting a vacation package together to get more information about Puerto Rico, I suppose your website would be the best place to go?
Yeah, you can go to www.discoverpuertorico.com. We've got all the information there. We're actually going to be launching a new website February 28th, so coming up next week. We're excited with all the multimedia content that we're putting up there. It's going to be very visual. It's going to be very user-friendly. People are going to be able to, book their everything that they want to do, any experience. They're going to be able to book it. So we're excited to launch that website and be able to have people have a place where they can go and make it easy for them to book their trip to Puerto Rico.
And it's easy to get there. U.S., you don't need a passport. You don't have to go through customs, immigration. So you've certainly got that advantage over all the rest of the Caribbean locations, I believe.